All right, let's get right into it and get you started with Inside. We want to create a new customer site. Let's call the customer 002 and say it's a vet. All right, save that. We got our second customer. Customer got an office, so we create a site. Customer got an office on Main Street, so we call that site Office Main Street. Customer might also got a warehouse. We can add another site. Save that. Now we want to add the first device. Let's go to Agent, download site installation package. That way the agent we create now will automatically be associated with that customer and that site. See it right here, that site Office Main Street. You can set proxy settings if the firewall needs that. Next. Right now the agent is created in the background, and in a minute it will be available for us to download. Right here. You have two options: group policy installer, that's going to be an MSI, or one-click installer. That's what we want to have right now. Click on download, give it a second. There we have our download. Zip file with one exe file. Double click on that. Yes, we are fine with that. And nothing happens as it's supposed to. It's a one-click installer for the user. But the software is now here. Advanced monitoring agent. We can open that up right here, and this will be now the UI of the agent on my device. And if we refresh right here in the dashboard, we should now have my computer. Yes. You can activate all columns here, and you can see, okay, this workstation now belongs to the customer 2 into the site Office, and the device name is Shakun, and the operating system is Windows 10 Pro. Description will be the user that started the installer. Version of the Inside agent, we got take control, that's like the team viewer. Remote background, that's a CMD PowerShell integration where the user won't see you logging in. Last response, okay, this is awaiting first upload, and last boot time will be loaded in short too. Where will you spend the most time? Down here in the south pane on the checks. This is where we can now add a couple checks. It already does this automatically. I just refreshed here on the right, and we can see what he added automatically. We got disk space check, that's self-explanatory. We got antivirus check, he detected that I have Windows Defender activated. I also got Veeam backup replication on my PC installed, so that's why he automatically added that check. What else? Some critical event log checks, just general stuff, performance checks, and those are already red. So if we refresh up here, the icon should turn red too, because we got some failed checks down here. And when we refresh here on the left side, the customer should turn red because, yep, we got failed checks here. Memory and processor. Now that is because I'm recording right now with OBS, but we can change, for example, the thresholds here and be like, all right, this is not as critical. Let's move the threshold up and see if that turns the check green. Disk space, okay, G drive does not exist. Okay, no problem. Let's delete that. What we now want to do is add our own check, a PowerShell check. So let's real quick just do a check and be like, okay, this will be a PowerShell script. So we say write host hello world, and then we're gonna use an exit code. Exit 00 is success, check is green. If you want the check to fail, you could do 1001. Let's save that real quick. This is what it looks like. Yep, save that. And then we can go to the settings, into the script manager. And this is where you will upload all your scripts you have, all the PowerShell scripts or BAT scripts, AMP, whatever you got, shell. So we're gonna call that hello world. And we're gonna say that's a script check for Windows devices. Browse, save. That's now added. So if we want to execute that check on this device, we can say add check. We want to execute this check multiple times a day. This down here would be daily checks. Those would only execute once a day. It's a script check, and then we can say hello, and there we got it. Next. Do we got any parameters? Nope, we got none. Finished. Well, now it's awaiting synchronization, and as soon as that's through, the check will be executed, and we will hopefully see hello world written here. Yeah, I just opened the UI a minute ago, and this is in German now because my operating system is in German, but everything you can see here will also be available in the dashboard. You can pause the agent here, you can execute the checks, you can update the agent, and you could add additional checks. For example, if you want to do another drive check with 5%, you could add that right here, but all of that is also able to be done right here. Disk check, and then you can choose a drive, choose a threshold, and say okay, and now you should have an additional drive check. Here are both 5%. That was the one I just added, and this was automatically added. All right. What types of checks do we have here? First of all, let me get right into this daily checks and 24-hour checks. This symbol, either the clock or the calendar. Let's open up the settings of the device. In there we can see what's the difference. 24-hour checks will be executed every 30 minutes and daily checks only once a day. You can choose the time, you can choose the frequency. What else do we see here in the device settings? You can choose the site. When you realize, oh, that PC now belongs to a different site, was moved from the office to the warehouse or even to a different customer. We can set up remote access. That's already turned on. I will show you that in a minute. Remote background also on. Again, CMD PowerShell, the user doesn't notice. Great tool. Patch management already turned on. Let's look right into that real quick. Down here, you got patches. For now, we see nothing. That's because we haven't done a scan yet. Let's say run patch status scan. This will make the agent look through all my installed software and see if any patches are available. We can also see the installed software here on the Asset tab. Right here you can scroll through all the software installed on the device and get all the information you need. Also hardware information, all available here. You also got the summary tabs. On the summary tab you will be able to see which features you activated, for example patch management, remote background, and so forth. You can see some hardware information, and most importantly what you will occasionally look at is the IP to the outside world and within the network. Let's look if the check is already executed. Yes, I think it has. Let me scroll right through here. I'm not seeing it. Hello world, there it is. Oh, it's green, but script is awaiting download. Alright, so we need another second to wait. Let's filter for certain checks. Up here to the right you can go to manage filters. say you want a new filter, you want to make the star here, and say, okay, this is gonna be a filter for desktop devices that are currently online, and I want to particularly look for disk space, for example. Let's say disk space check is supposed to be failed, and we want to save those changes, give it a name, disk space failed, save changes. Preview result should show no device because the check did not fail on this one device I got installed. If we say okay, then it should show one device. Preview results. Yep, seems to be working. Right here in the other dashboard, you can also now see that we got the disk space failed filter, and for now I set only devices on where the check has failed, and that's for none of my devices. Okay, what else? Tasks. Now we can automate tasks after a check has failed. For example, if we want to clean up temp files every time the C drive reaches a threshold of 10%, then we can say clean temp, and then we say, okay, I just want a system temp files to be cleaned. Say next. When do we want to get this executed? You could choose that. I will say on check failure, and then we associate it with the disk space check. C drive. Next. Maximum time 1 hour. Right now we have set up an automated task to clean up the system files on the C drive as soon as this disk space check drive C fails. This check right here. For now, there were no outages. We also got other settings for the device. For example, we got manage antivirus, which is currently off. I'm fine with that. We got web protection also off. That's like a browser filter. That's right here is a Bitdefender. We also got Sentinel-1 EDR integration, which can be used. These are the two main antivirus softwares distributed through Insight. You can also change the alert policy. For example, if there's a NAS device that isn't always answering to SNMP checks, then we can say only after 3 failures we actually want to be alerted. Okay, let's look into patches. Right click. Scan hasn't happened yet. We will get back to that later. But we can see up here, take control has been installed and remote background. So let's use that real quick. Start off with remote background. Okay, this needs our password, no problem. Let's insert this real quick. Okay, and loading. It wants me to download the viewer and install that. That needs to be done real quick, no problem. Start that, install that. The viewer was successfully installed. Okay, great. Let's close this and let's say that again now that we have the viewer installed. Remote background. Password again. Yes, we allow that always. And right here, I got the CMD of this computer. And I could also use a file transfer. Also change over here to PowerShell. And all of that without the user noticing. What also can be done is take control. Now this is where you interact with the user. And share the screen. You can adjust screen sizes. You can send commands. You can file transfer. Use multiple screens. Close this. Great. In the meantime, while we wait for the patch status scan to happen, we want to set up a new patch management policy to not actually install any updates now. We go up here into settings, we go to patch management, feature policy. We say, okay, we want a new policy. We want to base the policy on desktop, so copy any of these settings, and we want to make that policy available for all devices, and we call it do nothing. Now we get a view into the patch management policy settings, where you can say which Microsoft patches you want to be automatically approved or manually approved or just ignored. We want everything on either manual or ignore, because we right now do not actually want any updates on my computer. These are all the third-party softwares that are supported. I will scroll through here for you, and you can pause the video. You can set the installation schedule, at what time should updates be installed, on what day, and should the device reboot. Now this is a workstation. We do not want that workstation to be rebooted automatically when the user works, so we set that on never. For a server, you might set this on when required and then install updates on Sunday 3 o'clock in the night. So let's say save real quick, and now we got a policy that will not automatically install any updates. We can close that, and now on the device we could either say on and choose the do nothing policy, but we actually do not want to do this for every device individually. We want to go into settings, patch management, and then either for the site or for the customer we set up the policy. We could say, for example, for all our workstations we want to do nothing, or we say just for customer 2 we do not want to use the parent settings. We want to set something individually here and say, okay, any devices that join the customer 2 that are gonna have a policy that does nothing. We can even set that on the site. Let's save that, and now we see here patch management policy settings do nothing, because it does whatever the policy says. Let's look into the manage antivirus settings. First we're gonna create a policy. Yes, we accept that. And then we can either edit one of the existing policies or create a new. Let's look right into this. Now, manage antivirus is the rebrand of the Bitdefender. These are all the settings you can change. I will not go through each settings. I will just click through here for you real quick, and you can pause the video to see what can be done here. You can choose at which time you want the scan to happen. You could set exclusions and create policies for the individual customers that you then, over settings, manage antivirus settings, assign towards the customer. Okay, let's go through the checks we got available here. With the 24-hour checks, we got the disk space check, we got the event log check. We can take a look right into this, and we can look for certain event IDs in the application log or in the system log. This is basically your Windows event log. You can decide if you expect the event to be there or not to be there. For example, if you want to be alerted when a backup fails, you might look for the successful backup event, and as soon as that does not appear, you want to be alerted. You can also check for file sizes. You have performance monitoring checks. Let's take a quick look into this. We got memory usage, we got network usage, processor, queue and utilization, and physical disk too. What else? We got the script checks. Those will be your scripts that you upload and these that are available by default. This is the one I uploaded just a minute ago. We got those also as daily checks. Those will be the same, only difference how often they will be executed. We got SNMP checks with some presets here. For example, QNAP. Want to see if the rate is degraded, and we need this OID, and then we can type in the IP of the device down here and be alerted as soon as the NAS rate is degraded. What else? As daily checks, for example, is the antivirus software updated? Did backups happen? There are a bunch of backup softwares that are already supported. If yours not here, then check for the event log. How many backups are expected, on which days. Incomplete should not be successful. Now if you want to view this yourself, you can open up the enable website and then say try for free, and then try for free. It will ask you to put in all your details. Then they will send you an email where you have to set up your login, and then this email where you have 30 days to try your trial and do everything I just showed you.